Greetings from South Korea. I am Arirang News AI anchor. Here is the news making headlines today. Former President Yoon has been sentenced to 5 years in prison for obstruction of justice by evading arrest following his martial law attempt on the night of December 3, 2024. Now, this verdict is the first by the Seoul Central District Court, out of a total of 8 trials faced by the former president. Ahead of this verdict, prosecutors had argued Yoon blocked investigators from detaining him in January 2025, violated the rights of 9 cabinet members by excluding them from a key meeting, and later drafted and destroyed a revised martial law proclamation after the decree was lifted. Also, earlier this week, prosecutors called for the death penalty against Yoon in a separate trial on charges of insurrection, and that court verdict is set for February 19. South Korea's National Assembly passed the second comprehensive special prosecutor bill on Friday after the ruling Democratic Party voted to end an opposition filibuster. The bill cleared the floor about 24 hours after the People Power Party launched an unlimited debate, as the Democratic Party used its assembly majority to cut off debate. The legislation authorizes a special prosecutor to investigate and resolve allegations tied to the December 3 emergency martial law declaration and claims involving former President Yoon and his wife. President Lee Jae-myung brought together party leaders from across the political spectrum at the Blue House today, hosting a luncheon to foster national unity. In his opening remarks, President Lee urged them to come together for the sake of national interests, even though they represent different political colors. The president invited the leadership of 7 major parliamentary parties, including the ruling Democratic Party and the main opposition People Power Party. However, the PPP did not attend, calling the meeting held just a day after the National Assembly tabled a DP-led bill to appoint a second special counsel to further investigate allegations involving former President Yoon and former First Lady Kim Gon-hee. Inappropriate. Newly integrated cities may secure government support of up to 20 trillion Korean won or some $13.6 billion under the Lee administration's push for regional development. Addressing members of the media on this Friday, Prime Minister Kim Min-seok said, up to 5 trillion won can be provided annually over 4 years to each of the so-called integrated special cities. This includes the merging of local governments of Gwangju and Jeollanam-do Province, as well as Daejeon and Chungcheongnam-do Province. These merged cities will also be granted incentives in autonomy and responsibility, matching that of the Seoul metropolitan government. The benchmark KOSPI closed at yet another fresh high today, soaring past the 4,800 mark. The index rallied to a record high of 4,820.6 at the start of its session on this Friday, before ending at 4,840.7. This marks the 11th straight day of gains, the longest run since 2019. Leading this latest rally were retail investors responding to the strong momentum on Wall Street, amid record earnings by TSMC on AI chip demand. Likewise, shares of Samsung Electronics on the local bourse hit 149,500 Korean won at one point during trade today, the highest ever. That is all from me today. Thank you for watching.